Welcome to a brand new Nerds United on YouTube. My name is Greg Mahachko, joined as always by my co-host of the year, Mike Luther. Hello, Mike. Did you know we went corporate? We went corporate.
Apparently, I did not get the memo.
Truth be told, we can't go corporate if no corporation gives a shit about us. So
that's true.
So this is all for demonstrative purposes only.
I can't wait for the demonstration.
It's going to be a little burlesque, a little. It's going to be. I don't know how to describe it. We'll get to it. That brings us to our first topic of this week's YouTube episode, and that is cutting down on the banter at the beginning of the show. Mike, take it away.
Yes. Okay. So not the last YouTube video, the one before that, the one where we talked about Alan Moore, we had a comment on the video, which normally love comments. And I'll be honest with you, most of the comments are either from me or it's from obviously a spam bot type of thing. And it's really weird. This one was not. This one from an actual person, not sure who it is. But it was a bit of a hate comment. I don't remember exactly what they said, but it was I had to fast forward through 6 minutes of you guys bantering and you guys don't know anything about blah, 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 blah. So Greg, being the good person that he is, wrote a very corporate-like statement. We will try to do our best to improve, blah, 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 blah. Now, I say a good thing for that Greg did that, because if it was me, I would just told him to get fucked. Excuse my language. But it's just better that Greg does it. So I went onto the Gr8 M8s Facebook subgroup, aka the YouTube mates, and I said, hey guys, what do you guys think? Because I like a little banter. I know some people like it, some people don't. What do you guys think? And I had amazing comments from the people on there, which I will say up front, that is one of the best Facebook groups, because everybody, 95% of the time, is super friendly and super supportive of everybody. But I said, hey, do you guys prefer banter up top? Should we get to the subject right away? What do you guys think? Had great answers. One person, Sire, I believe his name is, and I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but he does magic and everything, really cool guy. He basically said that he doesn't mind the banter, but how about you put time codes in? That way people can skip ahead. So that's a great idea. So on our last video, we re-edited it, or I sent you something, you put it in there. So now every video that we do, either Greg or myself is going to put time codes in there, and I'll type. I have no problem typing them out, and then I send them to Greg, and Greg does something with them, and I don't know. But that way,
that's my job. My job to copy and paste, super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Nice, tight. So,
right. Screen rate, pitch meeting.
Yes. Oh, pitch meeting. I know. I love pitch. George Ryan, George Woodbrit, whatever his name is. So if you want to hear all of our stuff, you can. If you want to, hey, we know where you're talking about costumes today. You want to skip right ahead to that? Go ahead. So yeah, hopefully that is going to be an improvement, and everybody loves us, and everybody tells all their friends to like and subscribe, like you should be doing right now.
We have Turkey Before Turkey coming up before you know it. The question is, will I be doing Shot of Wild Turkey before Turkey Before Turkey? It's a lot of befores and a lot of turkeys, and it's up to you. So, Mike, without any further ado, let's get into this week's Nerds United on YouTube topic, which I told you I wanted to dedicate to superheroes and their costumes. I'd like to tell you why, and it's also why I'm decked out in the fines this evening. This is about what I wear to work, and beneath it, I always just wear a plain white T-shirt, not to sound like the band or anything like that, but just plain white undershirt, with short sleeves, goes to about here, and you can always see the cutoff line of where the white T-shirt ends and the almost as white skin begins. But there's always that visible line. And I was telling one of the guys in the office, I said, I don't know how Superman did it. You know, like how do you? And I'm going specifically the Christopher Reeve Superman, who, when there was trouble, would take off down an alley. And I mean, I'll just go ahead and do it because I know that's what everybody's wanting to see. You know, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum, ba, da. And like, how do you? I just feel like that's quite obvious. You know, like this would stick out like a sore thumb underneath a white shirt. And it got me thinking that, and that I put the post out there on Facebook about, favorite like secret identity cover-ups and then changing into the costume. There was the famous, bat pole from Adam, the Adam West Batman 66. There was the Linda Carter Wonder Woman who just, spun from civilian clothes into her Wonder Woman garb. The aforementioned Christopher Reeve. Are there any? It just seems like changing from civilian clothes to your superhero costume will be so time consuming. And like for Batman, who doesn't have any superpowers except for being rich, and as we learned in I guess the Dark Knight, has secret locations all throughout the city where he can just have a suit laying about. But I feel like that'd be the opposite of super easy. It'd be a huge inconvenience.
Yeah. So I will tell you, the most convenient one are probably Superman, because he can go super speed, if he's doing that, or the Flash. The Flash is by far the easiest one.
Where do you land, since you mentioned the Flash, and I'm glad you did, where do you land on the whole costume inside the ring thing?
Love it. That is so perfect. And now that he needs it, like literally the Flash could be 20 miles away from his house, speed there, change clothes, and then come back before you blink. Right? So he doesn't need it.
We saw a lot of that on the Flash TV show, right? Where he'd always at their Star Labs put on the outfit and go.
Yeah. But I'm very convenient. And he's one of the only, actually, him and Superman are the only two that can change that fast. Obviously there's Wally, it depends on what version of Flash you have.
On the other side, let's talk about Marvel. Spider-Man famously, going back to early in the comics, I think a lot of us remember the 90s cartoon always had the Spider-Man suit on underneath his clothes. Again, then you have to, put your clothes somewhere, Daredevil kind of operated at night, so it was different. He's leaving his home. It wasn't like, and maybe that was Batman's benefit too, is he wasn't really operating a lot during the daytime. He was always on patrol, so it's like going to work. Like a police officer or anybody that's a construction worker, he's putting on his uniform, and out the door he goes with his lunch pail, and his thermos of coffee. So, I mean, I see those aspects, unless it's an emergent type thing. But, in Captain America, he's always Captain America, he very rarely has a side life. Iron Man, everybody already knows he's Tony Stark. So that eliminates a lot of the hassle. We saw that in the MCU and in the comic books. He can just always have an array of suits, in a suitcase, packed away in the trunk, in his wristwatch. It didn't matter for Iron Man. However, now I'll let you speak before I bring up my grade.
So I was going to, first of all, I've thought about this subject a lot, not just since you asked me, but I've always wanted to be a superhero and thought to myself, how would I do this?
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man, yes, he wears his suit underneath his clothes, and he can do that. Now, it's going to be a little tricky when you're wearing shorts and stuff like that, because you got to pull the tights up a little bit so they don't show, right? Yeah. And you got to pull the, obviously when you're running, so, okay, there's danger, I got to run or swing. You can run and take a shirt off. Trust me on that one, okay? It's harder to run and take your pants off. So you got to think, at some point in time, Spider-Man's running, tosses the shirt off, probably puts the mask on then, but then he's got to stop and just shimmy out of the pants. You know,
in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, didn't we get Miles Morales like struggling to, like keep up because he was trying to lose his sweatpants or something like that? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, I believe so. If not, it should have been in there.
Yeah.
You got the other ones like Batman and stuff like that, or anyone that they have to change, like they have to take the clothes off and put the Daredevil and stuff like that. You're right. It's probably more of I'm changing in the house. I'm going out through a window. By the way, I thought of all this stuff when I was living in Highland and I lived on the second story. And there was, in my bedroom, there was a window right there. I would always think like, oh, this would be the time. Like I change out of these clothes and then I go out. Hopefully nobody's down there because then they'll see, super sound, whatever my name would have been.
The hero of Highland.
Yeah, perfect. But they go out. They have like kind of, I think like a set time, to go out.
Hey, punch in.
Punch it, yeah. Iron Man, yeah, like you said, he has, he just has satellites that orbit, and then he's just like, oh, time for a suit, beep, bloop, blah, and then the suit forms on him. So,
and speaking of that and that simplicity, that's why I think send your hate comments. I think that the best superhero costume changing into with ease, Green Lantern. You're like, whoosh, I willed it into existence. I'm the Green Lantern now, bitches.
But I don't think it's fast, but I still would say technically Flash is faster.
Oh, yeah, Flash is the fastest man alive, but
right. And then you got
Flash also has to either like you said, run 20 miles home or zip by Star Labs or open up the ring. Whereas Hal's already got the ring on his finger. He's like, Green Lantern now.
But you also have to think, what is a better costume? Like, if you look at
the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern movie, that's the best costume.
If you look at Hal Jordan, let's say, and then look at Green Lantern, I think you'd be able to tell that Hal Jordan is Green Lantern, unless you're confused by this.
It threw off a lot of people for a very long time.
Apparently.
I mean, moving past the movie when Blake Lively figured it out, like, Hal? No? Who is this Hal?
Which, of course, that always brings up, when we talk costumes, of course, when you're talking about Superman costume, it always brings up, like, how do people not realize that Clark Kent is Superman? But I remember seeing a picture, and the caption of the picture is, it was something like, now I understand why no one realized Clark Kent was Superman. Because it was a picture of, I believe it was Katy Perry, the singer, and it was like, this is Katy Perry without glasses and without bangs, and legit, I wouldn't have been able to tell. It's like, oh, I get it now.
That's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were gonna have like some historical photo of like side by side of Christopher Reeve as Superman, where he's standing tall, chin is up, looking very confident, and Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent, where he's kind of slumped over with the glasses and just looking very awkward. I mean, that's a guy that made you. I mean, I know that the tagline was, make you believe that a person can fly, but that was the guy. That performance made you believe that those were two different characters.
Well, yeah, and that was the idea behind it. Was that as much as they looked alike, you would have been like, "There's absolutely no way this geeky, reporter is, basically a god, a superhero. There's just no way. It's ridiculous. Like in that world, if somebody would have mentioned that to you, you'd have been, that's stupid, even though they were obviously identical.
So that'll do it for this episode of Nerds United on YouTube. We want to know in the comments, both if you appreciate the new shorter format of the show, and if you have a favorite superhero costume transition, however you put it, why it's the Green Lantern. That's really all we want to know. Mike, any final thoughts?
Subscribe.
Yeah.
We need more subscribers, because after that dumb comment, Greg needs to, you know what,
Make my
like this, wherever the like button is, probably on Greg's side. Or where, Greg, by the way, I don't ever know where you're at. If I point this way, am I pointing at you?
I point this way. I'm pointing at you.
So do I point this way? I point at you?
No, you should point the opposite way.
Well, this is the opposite way for me.
Oh, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna say
Greg over here.
I'm gonna say that it records my version. So when I'm pointing this way, I'm pointing at you. So you need to point wherever whatever I tell you. You
I just switched you around.
You need to point that way.
Now I'm pointing this way.
Okay. Who cares? Grand scheme of things, it's so minor. This is Nerds United on YouTube. He is the co-host of the year, the one and only Mike Luther. I am Greg Mahachko. We're out of time because if we go any longer, we'll be accused of too much banter. Be kind.
And rewind.